All right, today's lesson's on multiplying and dividing by 10 times, and it's standard, Common Core standard for MBT1. All right, when you're doing these types of problems, the first thing you need to do is get a place value chart. Now, what someone discovered is each time you have a digit here and you move it over one place, so you go over one line, you're timesing that number by 10. So watch, if I move this over 1, I'm timesing it by 10. Let's say if I took 40 and times it by 10, I would move the whole number over one line times 10. So I'd go over here, and you can see I've got 400. So that's the whole principle of this whole lesson, and it's trying to teach times 10 and how whenever you cross one of these lines, you're timesing that by 10 if you go this way, or you're dividing by 10 when you're going that way. All right, so let's say you've got the number 45. It says 45 is blank times greater or smaller than 450. Well, we know that 45 is definitely smaller than 450, and I would do that step first because this is kind of backwards thinking. All right, so how could I make 45 be 450? Well, what I could do is I could just go over one of these lines. So times it by 10. So if I take the leading digit and just move this whole number over one line, then you see I have a space here, which I can add a 0 as a placeholder. So I got 450. So 450, in order to get 45, I'd have to go backwards on here. So I'd have to divide by 10 to get 45. So 45 is 10 times smaller, use a different color, smaller than 45. Now you also can use this place value slider. We have 45, and if I just move it over one direction this way, I get 450. Now to get 450 to be 45, I divide it by 10. To get 45 to be 450, I multiply it by 10. So every time we cross over these lines, we're timesing by 10. Okay, next problem. All right, the next problem says 8,700 is blank times greater or smaller than 870. Well, I know 8,700 is way bigger than 870. So I know this number is greater. And I always do that step first because of the backwards thinking here. Now I'm going to make this number, and I'm going to try to find out how many times greater. So I have my digit, 8 in the tens place, 8 in the thousands, 7 in the hundreds, 0 in the tens, and another 0 in the ones. So now I want to see how many slides I'm going to do. How many slides I'm going to make this whole number. Am I going to slide the whole number 1, 2 places? What am I going to do? All right, so it looks like I want to get 870. The only way I can do that is make this number here smaller. So I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to hop 1. So it looks like I hopped 1 over. And if I only hop 1 over, I'm dividing by 10, which makes sense because when you divide by something, it should get smaller. So we know in order to make 8,700, 870, we'd have to divide by 10. To make 870, 8,700, I'd have to multiply by 10. So this is definitely 10 times greater than 870. And we can double check that on here. If we take 8,700 and our slider, we're definitely moving that this way. Okay, and 870 is if I times that by 10, so going this way, I only have to move it over once. See that? So I'm only multiplying by 10 times. Okay, next problem. Just a lot of words, and that freaks most people out, but all I'm going to do is read the problem. It says, in the number 2,222, so I'm just going to make that 2,222. How many times larger is the value of the digit in the tens place? So I have the tens place is here. Than the value of the digit in the ones place. So I'm just comparing these two green numbers. If I notice, it says how many times larger, so that is, how many times larger is this digit than this digit? Well, I know to make this digit move over to here, all I'd have to do would be to go over one line. So that's only 10 times, right? So this digit, if I move this digit over just once, that would be 10 times bigger. Okay, so the answer to this is 10 times. Okay, let me go to the next problem. All right, in the number 2, 3, so 2,323, it says how many times larger is the value of the digit in the hundreds place than the value of the digit in the ones place. So again, I'm seeing how many times I have to cross over these lines. So I want this 3 to move over to here. So how would I do that? I would have to move it once over this line times 10, and that would hop this here. But it looks like I'm going to have to do it another time, 10. And once I do it, I can move this digit over 1, 2, and it'll get to the hundreds place. So it looks like this digit here is 10 times 10. This digit here is 100 times larger because I had to move it twice, and that means it's 10 times 10. So it's 100 times. Okay, let's go to the next number, the next problem. All right, this is the last problem, I believe. Yes. So it's the same number, 2,323. And I like to underline the digits that they're talking about. It says, how many times larger is the value of the digit in the thousands place than the value of the digit in the tens place? Okay, so again, I have to move this 2 all the way over to here. So it looks like to move that over, I'd have to go 1 10 times, and that would get this to here, but it's still not there. So I'd have to move it over 1 more time. So that would get me there. So again, 10 times 10 is 100. So 100 times. Okay, and that's the last problem. I hope that helps. Thanks.